Starts now. So on your Google Classroom, you know what? Let me pause quickly. Also, so let me go to the Google Classroom so you can know where the homework is going to be. And I'm recording, so like that, there's no excuses that if I don't have access to Google Classroom, you can watch the YouTube video that I'm recording at this moment. So it's called Introduction to Ratios. We're going to learn about ratios. Um, Here are the notes. So instead of you copying them, I put everything. What ratios are, how they work, how to write them, some important things. And there's many ways to represent ratios. It could be on tables, diagrams, coordinates. That's what we learned about coordinate planes before. And then we have the double number line, which is the one that I have up there. Okay. Or we can have models. So sometimes you do have a double number line. Usually they don't do it in fifth grade. I mean sixth grade. So make sure that if you have a chance, look at that. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to begin with Google, and I'm going to teach you how to answer these questions. It's really easy. You have your homework journal, right? Okay. And here's how it's going to work. I will do 8 of them, all 8, 1 through 8 right now. And you will do 8 at home. Number 1 is like number 1. So number 1 is like number 1 for homework. Number 2 is like, guess what? Number 2, and so on. Questions? Okay, so let me start with number 1. It says there are 12 boys and 8 girls in Mr. Young's first period math class, which correctly shows the ratio of boys to girls in Mr. Young's class. Okay, so like I told you, my first job is to say what's the question asking me. So they want to know the ratio of boys to what? Girls. So I'm going to go ahead and put here homework, HW, the title, and today's date is the 14th of November. And we're doing the introduction to ratios. And number 1, the question wants to know the ratio of, did they say boys or girls first? I forgot. Boys to girls. That's the first thing, the question. Now, I want you to quickly know who comes first in the question, the boys or the girls? So he would be the numerator and the girls would be the denominator. Questions. So, porque primero vino los niños en la pregunta, pone en numerador el de arriba y de denominador el de abajo. Questions with that part? Now I'm going to go back to my story and it says that there's 12 boys. Now we're going to get the facts. Facts. There's 12 boys. Y si no haces esto, te va a ir bien mal. Okay? 12 boys. And there's 8 girls. And that's it. That's all they gave me, right? Okay. So once you have that it's a ratio, we're going to set it up as a fraction. Now, not all ratios are fractions. Like this is not a fraction, okay? Because in ratios we have part to part. Like we're comparing a part to another part. So that's not a fraction. Now, if we do a part to whole, that would be a fraction and a ratio. A whole to part, that's a fraction also and a ratio. So when you see this word ratio, I'm comparing quantities. Estoy comparando los niños contra las niñas, pero la voy a representar como una fracción. Pero no es una fracción en este caso porque this is a part to part. I'm comparing una parte con otra parte. So I know that this one strategy is to check, is it a part to part? Is it a part to whole? or is it a whole to? And you're gonna get better as I go along, so don't panic. Is it a part to whole, or whole to part? What I'm comparing, it's a comparison of quantities. Like I said, in your notes, I talk about that right here. Okay, part to whole to part. Okay, and the order matters. The order matters based on the question. That's why I said, who came first in the question, the boys or the girls? I know he has to be the top number then. Okay, so the strategy is part to part. So we're going to circle part to part because that's what we're going to do. And now we're going to set up a proportion. Now, proportion is when two ratios are equal. Again, in your notes, I talk about that. Or I don't talk about that yet. Not on these notes yet. Okay. I need to tell you about that. I have another set of notes that I will talk about proportion. But you're going to know about it right now already. So, who came first? So, let's put boys on top, 12. And girls on the bottom, which would be 8. And I like to label, these are the boys and these are the girls. Question with that part. Now, here's one option. One option is I can go to all the choices and put it next to each other and do cross products. Esa es una opción. The other option is to simplify. So let's go to the side and we're going to simplify. We're going to divide by something. Now, those that do not know how to simplify, make a checklist. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why did I stop at 8? Because the lowest number is 8. So we can stop there because we know that we go over, it's not going to be a factor. Me paré en 8 porque el más chiquito número es 8, so me paro en 8. ¿Para qué seguirle? Si doy 9, 9 no te va a poder dar 8, ya se pasó. So te paras en el más chiquito. Ahora vamos a empezar en orden. Can 2 give you 12? Yes. Can 2 give you 8? Yes. So put a check that we can simplify with 2 if we want to. Now let's try 3. Can 3 give me 12? No. Can 3 give me 8? I mean, 3 can give me 12, yes, but can 3 give me 8? No. So this guy is not a common factor, so he will not work out. 4, can 4 give me 12? Can 4 give me 8? Good. So this guy works also. 5, can 5 give me 12? Can 5 give me 8? No. 6, can he give me 12? Yes, but not what? So that's not going to work out. 7? No. 8? No. So we have two of them. We have two common factors that can give me these two. We want to get the GCF, the greatest common factor. So who's the greatest? 4. So divided by 4, 4. Questions? Now, here's what you can do. You can divide 12 divided by 4. You can just say this. 4 times what gives me 12? 4 times what gives me 8? Now the answer is 3 to 2. Go put it here next to the 1, the proportion. And we're going to test it to see if it's true. We're going to cross products. What's 2 times 12? Ponle 24 arriba. What's 8 times 3? Ponle 24 arriba. So are they proportional? Yes. Proportional means that they're what? Equal. So si trabajo son proporcionales. So entonces esa es mi respuesta. 3 to what? 2. Now how do I write these answers as ratios? You write it that way. This would be a possible answer. 3 to 2. Sometimes they'll put it in words, 3 to 2. And sometimes they'll put it with a colon, 3 colon 2. All these are possible answers. Question with number 1. The way I did number one, you're gonna go home and do the one for you. So it depends how many I do, guys. If I only do four, well, you're just gonna do four. See how we go. Okay, listen again. So it all started with me knowing who came first in the question, boys to girls. Second thing I did is I created my ratio as a fraction, but it's not a fraction because it was a part to part. The only time that there are fractions is when it's part to what? Whole or whole to part. But if it's part to part, that's not a fraction, it's just called a ratio. Sometimes teachers tell kids ratios are fractions, and that is false. Some of them are considered fractions, which are the parts to wholes. Those can be a ratio and they can be considered a fraction. But a part to part will never be a fraction because the definition of a fraction is part to whole. Okay? Which is that one. Or whole to part would be an improper. Okay? Questions? But if it's a part to part, I can say, oh, that ratio is also a fraction. No, it's not. It's a part to part comparing the boys against the what? Girls. When I do girls against the class, that's a part to whole, and it also can be considered a fraction. Any questions? Now, this that I just did is called a proportion. When two ratios are equal, cuando dos, I don't know how you say ratios in Spanish. When two ratios are equal, they're proportional. Okay? Now, how do I find the answer? I simplify. Now, if I don't know how to simplify, here's what you can do. I can try all my choices. I can try all my choices. I can try all the choices and put it next to each other in cross products. The next choice, cross products. The next choice, cross products. The next choice, cross products. Until I check which one is proportional, which one is equal. Do you understand what I'm saying or no? I can do this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I can do this. Look. If I do not know how to simplify, I can do this, guys. The only problem with this is that if there's no choices, well, you can't do it. That's why we need to learn how to simplify. Okay? Like we don't have a choice. We have to learn how to simplify. So the ratio was 8 to 12, right? Yes? I can try all the choices and do this. 8 to 12. Was it 8 to 12 or 12 to 8? 12 to 8, yeah, right? Who was on the top, guys? 12. 8. To what? 8. 8. It was 12 to 8, right? Now let's put the first choice. 8 to 12. What's 12 times 12? 144. What's 8 times 8? 64. So choice A does not work. Let me try choice B. 12 to 8. 6 to 3. What's 3 times 12? 36. 8 times 6? 48. Are they proportional? No. Proportional means that they're not equal. No, they're not proportional. No, they're not proportional. So that's not the answer. Letter C. So if I do not know how to simplify, you can do what I'm showing you right now. You can do cross products and check if they're proportional, and you can still find the answer. 12 to 8. Just remember that the order matters. Whomever came first, which was the boys, was the top. You have to put it that way. Choice C, which is the answer, we already simplified, but let's see if this works. What's 2 times 12? 24. 8 times 3? 24. That is proportional, that's why the answer is C. And then you can try choice D to make sure. Now, why don't I like this? Because I'm going to say, oh, that's easier than simplifying. You have to do now how many problems? 4. When you simplify, you just do 1, and then you test it by doing the cross products. That's what you do. You test it to check if it's true. Questions with number 1? And let me put number 1 for your homework so you can have it in YouTube. And you don't tell me that, oh, I didn't do the homework because I couldn't see it. There's number 1. Number 1 is exactly the way I did it. Saul, you're listening, sir? Marsha has a stuffed animal collection. She has 10 dogs and 15 teddy bears. What is the ratio of dogs to bears? Who came first? Dogs. And then? And we always go on that question, not on the story. Like in the story would have mentioned the bears first. Who cares? The question controls the order. So in the question, if the dogs came first, the dogs better be at the top. And the bears better be on the what? Bottom. And then you simplify, you get it, and then cross products to test it. Question number one is exactly like question number one. That is your first homework. Questions? Let's go to number two now. Ready? So draw a line on your paper or box, whatever. I don't know how much space you have. Mine is pretty filled up, so I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to do number two. Number two. Number two says there are 6 long jump ropes and 78 short jump ropes in the equipment closet. Which ratio compares the number of short jump ropes to the number of long jump ropes? What's the question here? They want a ratio again, so put ratio. And who did they mention first? Not in the story, in the question. That's why I like to go with the question first. Short jump ropes to long jump ropes. So who did they mention first? The short. So I'm going to put, they want the ratio of short to what? Long. I don't have to put the whole words jump ropes, just short to long. That's my question. After I get the question, we're going to get the what? The facts. And let's go get the facts. The facts in this story says that we have 6 long and 78 short. 6 long, 6 long, and 78 what? Short. That is my facts. My strategy to decide what type of ratio are we comparing. Are we comparing a part to part? Are we comparing a part to whole? Or are we comparing a whole to part? ¿Qué creen ustedes? It's part to part again. It's a part against the other part. Okay? So I'm going to set up my proportion. Two ratios that are equal, that is a proportion. ¿Quién va a ir arriba? Good, because 78 came first. He goes on top. And who came second? Long, right? He goes on the bottom. So 78 will be on top. 6 would be on the bottom. Questions? Now we need to find the ratio that's equivalent to this. How do I find it? Simplify. 78 over 6 divided by something. So let's do a checklist. Where are we going to stop in this checklist? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good job, Judith. We stop at 6 because that's the smallest one. So let's start with 2. Can 2 give me 78? Yes. If it's an even number, 2 can give you even numbers. 2 would work. Can 3 give me 78? That's where kids do not know this little trick that I'm going to teach you. Ready? I want you to add those two digits. What's 7 plus 8? Can 3 give me 15? Yes. So guess what? If 3 can give you the sum of those two, then 3 can give you 78. Listen to what I did again. To check if 3 can give you a big number, add the digits. What's 7 plus 8? Can 3 give me 15? So if 3 can give me the sum of the digits, then 3 can give me that one. So guess what? 3 works with 78 and 3 works with who? 6. Put a check. Can 4 give you 78? No. Y el que sea, can 4 give you 6? Oh, no. How about 5? No. How about 6? Let me give you a trick for 6. Ready? Ready? Because I'm trying to give you tricks. So the trick, it's really divisibility rules, like how many tricks with divisibility rules. Do you have a check on 2 and 3? If you have a check on 2 and 3, guess what? 6 works. Listen again. If I have a check on 2 and 3, check, check, then 6 will get a check. If I have a check on 2 and 3, then 6 get a check. What if I have a check on 2 but not on 3? Does 6 get a check? No. What if I have a check on 3 but not on 2? Does 6 get a check? No. 6 gets a check when 2 and 3 are checked off. And you know why? Because what 2 times 3? That's why 6 works. Okay? You don't have to know that why, I'm just telling you. Okay? So who are you going to use to simplify? Well, 6. 78 divided by 6 over 6. Now this one I do not know 6 times what gives me 78. So guess what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to go to the side and bottom out. 78 divided by what? 6. 78 divided by 6. The first one is the inside. The second one is the bottom out. Times what? 1. Bring down the 8. Times 3. 18. So who goes on top? 13. Este sí está fácil. What's 6 divided by 6? 1. So my ratio is 13 to 1. How do I test if I'm right? How do I test if I'm right? Cross multiply, cross products. What's 1 times 78? 78. What's 6 times 13? Well, let's go to the side and check. Oh, it's 78 too. Are they proportional? What is proportional? That two ratios are equal, that they're the same. Good. Is this answer there? Let's go check. What's the answer? Huh? The order matters, sir. What's the answer? F. Be careful. Who was on top? So guess who goes first? 13. The order matters. No puedes voltearla porque look, ahí está el 1 to 13. Okay? You know why? I should have told you to write the answers completely. So let me write them. So who's first? 13 to 1. What's another way to write it? Who's the first one? 13. And what word can I put here? 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. And then what else can I write it as? With a colon. 13 to 1. Those are all the ways we can write this. And again, if I forget how to write them, they're also in your notes there that I put in your Google Classroom right there. You can use the word to for every, I haven't talked about that, the colons or a fraction notation. Just know that they're not really fractions if they're doing part to part. Okay? Question with number 2. The way I did number 2, I'm going to go do number 2 at home. Let's read this one so you can see. Mr. McDonald's farm has 14 ducks and 42 chickens. Which ratio accurately compares the number of chickens to the number of ducks? Who came first? Chickens. You see, some kids will say ducks because they came first in the what? In the story. But what did I tell you to check on? The question, not the story. So who comes first? The chickens came first. So who's going to be on the top? The 14 or the 42? The 42. And on the bottom? The 14. And then I need to simplify. Question with number 2. Let's do number 3 now. I'm probably just going to give you 4 questions for homework. Se me está acabando el tiempo. I think. Let's see. Question number 3. Pedro answered 10 math problems in 4 minutes. Which ratio compares the math problems to minutes? Okay, which ratio compares the math problems to minutes? So what's the question? This is number what? 3. What's the question? Ratio of what? Ratio of what? Vamos a ver. Ratio of math problems to minutes. So, ¿quién es primero? Math problems. Math problems to minutes. This word is important, guys, because that will tell you who came first and who came what? Second. The first one is your numerator, the top number. The second one is always your denominator. El primero es el de arriba, el segundo es el de abajo. Let's get the facts now. The facts. 10 math problems for what? Minutes. So, facts. Y si no lo haces así, te va a ir mal. 10 what? Math problems. And for what? Minutes. Questions so far? Okay, strategy. I'm not gonna put them out. Just tell me, is this a part to part or part to whole or whole to part? What is this one? Part to part again. Part to part. They're comparing the minutes with a math problem. That's a part to part. To be honest, I think it could be a whole to whole, but that's really for later on. But it's okay. ¿Quién va ahí arriba? 10. Do you all know why 10 va arriba? Porque he came first in the question. Vino primero en la pregunta, por eso va arriba. Y abajo, 4. Set up the proportion and go to the side to get ready to simplify. Divided by, let's do a checklist up to what number? 2, 3, 4. Can 2 give me 10? Yes. Can 2 give me 4? Yes. Check. Can 3 give me 10? No. Afuera. Can 4 give me 10? No. Pa afuera. ¿Quién ganó? 2 times what gives me 10? 5. 2 times what gives me 4? 2. So the ratio is 5 to what? How do we test it to see we're right? Cross products. 4 times 5? 20. 2 times 10? 20. Are they proportional? Yes. So the answer is, write them the 3 ways. 5 to 2, 5 to 2, and 5 to 2. Todas se leen así. 5 to 2, 5 to 2, and the one with a colon, 5 to 2. This is the answer. Now let's check what we're going to select. Which one is the answer? You know what a lot of kids like to choose? A. And you know why? Because it looks like it. But in ratios, the order matters. Who was supposed to be first? 10. So that's why that one is dumb. Questions. The way I do number 3, you're gonna go do number 3 on your own. So let me read it for you. In 15 minutes, Owen assembled 5 Valentine's cards. Which ratio compares Valentine's to minutes? ¿Quién va a ir primero? Valentine's. ¿Quién va a ir segundo? Minutes. And I better see the work the way I'm showing you on the video. Okay? I think you put off the last one, so you have 4 problems for homework. Okay? That's pretty fair. You're not going to put submit. You're going to put finish later. Tomorrow, I'm going to make you transfer it to the computer quickly. Ready? Let me go to number 4 over here. In Mr. Quad's physical class, 48 out of the 50 students dress out. Esa está buena. You know what? Is this one a not to? Yeah. This is a good question. 48 out of the 50 students dressed out. Which fraction represents a ratio of students who did not dress out to the total number of students who did dress out? I mean, to not dress out, to just the total, my bad. To the total number of students. So this is kind of like all complicated, so let's focus on the question. Nomás en la pregunta, I'm even going to split the screen here, because this is a tougher question. Okay, ready? No te vayas mal, hombre. I'm hating this thing. Okay, forget that. Let me try it this way. Let's see if that takes care of this problem. Finally, I think I found the solution. ¿Cuánto? Okay, so for homework, it's only 1, 2, and 3. That should be easy. 1, 2, and 3, the way the video has it.